What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Hey Babe, Can We Talk? With me, your host and bestie, Drea Renee. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is the place for those who just can't seem to get it right when it comes to matters of the heart. I get you. And if you're returning, I missed you, and we're going to have a great episode. On today's episode, you guys, I am so excited. We have secure attachment coach and host of the Let's Talk Relationships podcast, Beatrice Rosu, with us today. We're going to be talking about not dimming your light in a relationship to keep the connection. If that resonates with you, this is the episode for you. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit the like, follow, subscribe, comment down below, do all the things, and share this with someone because it's going to be a good episode. So without further ado, let's get into it with my girl, Beatrice.
Hey.
Hey, girl, hey. First of all, the brown is giving.
Oh, thank you.
You look amazing.
I did one of those, what is those, like, color things?
What do you call it?
Coming to me.
Chrome.
And I'm apparently medium autumn. Oh. And so ever since then, I'm like, okay, I got to start wearing more browns. I love it. Like warmer tones, autumn colors.
Okay, whatever you did,
and
I need to do that.
love a neutral anyway, so I was like, it's great.
It really works because it really popped when you were standing there. I was like, wow. So for those of you who are just listening, I'm sorry you can't see her, but go watch it because she looks hot. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. When I saw your platform, Secure Attachment Coach, I was like, I got to see who this girl is, right? Aww. And it resonated with me so much. And you put dating should not feel like walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Right? So talk to me about your journey from Beatrice, who was maybe anxiously attached, I'm not really sure your journey there, into being a secure attachment coach.
Yeah. So for me, it started back, it was like 2019, and I was in a relationship, and it just wasn't great. We weren't a great match. And I just had the thought that I'm like, well, I'm trying so hard. I don't get why it's not working. But I didn't have any tools. Like I never went to therapy. I didn't have great examples. And so it was really hard. I'm like, I don't understand. I'm trying the way I would try in school or at work. And I would, achieve and do great things. I couldn't do that in my relationships. Girl. And so that really led me to start diving into and questioning, like, what does it take to be in a good relationship? What does it take to have a great relationship? It doesn't just happen. You have to build it. And that journey started for me then. So I started diving in. It was more of a personal thing. I was like reading all the books. I started reading like Brene Brown and John Gottman and his wife and the 5 love languages, like kind of starting with all the basic stuff. And then a friend introduced me to the book Attached. And it was like a year before I actually read it. She was like, this book changed my life.
Everyone says this. Yeah. I need to read this book.
I will say it's really good. It's a fundamental book. It doesn't go really, really in depth, but it's great to introduce the topic to you. Okay. So if you're not familiar with attachment theory, Attached is a great start. It'll explain everything you need to know about it. And a lot of people feel so seen when they read it. Like, oh my gosh, that is why I do that. Or, I freak out when someone doesn't text me. That's why I do that. Or, I run when it feels really good and things are going well. Like, why do I do that? So it did that for me. I realized I'm like, oh, I'm seeing so many of my patterns. Like this explains why I would get like debilitating anxiety. Like can't function, can't think. Like, I was like, what is going on? And I obviously the more work I did, I started learning more about the nervous system and what was actually happening in my body when I was going through my anxiety. Yeah. And that kind of led one thing to another. And I had this pressing on my heart, like I want to share this journey with others, what I was learning. And so the podcast kind of came from there. Yeah.
And same. It's like that feeling of feeling so out of sorts, right? Mm-hmm. And seeing that my friends and other people in my life were not reacting the same way that I was to relationships, and that feeling where you just feel like you can't move. And so I didn't feel like there was a lot of content like back in the day.
There wasn't. No one was talking about attachment theory in 2019, when I was like trying to figure all this out, and like even in early like 2020, it was like sort of you were hearing
little
it.
Sprinkles.
But,
little sprinkles. And so that's why, same as you, feeling so passionate about this subject. So people feel like, even if you feel like you're broken and you are so just like, I need the text. It's like this almost addictive feeling for you to go on with your day. Like, we get it. Yeah. We get it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to talk about today is dimming your light to keep that connection, right? So with all of this stuff, when I was in relationships, I would become malleable to whatever they wanted, right? Have you experienced that where you were dimming your light to keep the connection?
Yeah. And that usually leans a little bit more on the anxious side, right?
Yeah.
So the reason we do that is the connection for us is like a lifeline, right? We get plugged into it and we're like, I cannot lose this, right? It's like we're plugged in and we're like, cannot lose this. This is everything to me. This is my lifeline. That's what it feels like in the body, right? You may not be consciously thinking that, but your body is like, I must hold on to this connection.
No matter
It's
what.
do or die, right? And it sounds extreme, but that's what's happening internally, right? It's the same thing as a kid. You attach to your parents because you're like, if I don't have my parents, I will die. Like, it sounds dramatic, but that's, you're wired for survival, right, as a child. And so that's kind of what's happening internally. And yes, that's what I would feel like. I would hold on to these relationships that were not great. I'm like, I am not being treated well, or I'm dimming my needs. And at that point too, I didn't even know what my needs were. Right. I didn't even know how to
talk
express
about
my
that,
needs.
girl?
So I don't fault anyone for that early on when they really don't know, because I didn't know either. I didn't know what I actually needed to make me feel less anxious, and what makes me feel secure in a relationship, and what are things that I need to feel connected to my partner. Like those
Right.
are all really important things to answer, honestly, before you enter a serious relationship. Understanding what those are.
Like really knowing yourself before you
Yes.
get into a relationship.
Yes.
And that was a really pivotal moment for me. And I talk about this a lot on the show because I want my listeners to always take it back to yourself and to hold accountability
Yes.
for yourself.
Absolutely.
For yourself. Because it's like, if he would just text, if he would just say, if he would just whatever it was, but there wasn't any... Well, what, Drea, like, how are you showing up?
Yep.
Would I want to date myself? Right? These are questions that we really don't ask. And then I ended up going, I'm fine to keep the peace all the time.
Yep.
Like, how do people break that pattern to stop saying I'm fine and to have those hard conversations? What would you say to them?
I think a big part is being confident in yourself and what you're worth. Because I think a lot of the times when we don't express that to someone, it's fear of loss, that we're going to lose the connection, but it's also fear of being judged, or someone thinking, oh, well, you're so needy, or why do you need that? Or, and I think a shift I want people to make when it comes to asking for your needs to be met, it's not a demand, it's an invitation.
Love
and
that
I
framing.
think you're inviting someone in to love you the way you need to be loved. And it gives you two things, right? One, it gives your partner the opportunity to meet you and to create intimacy with you. Because your partner, let's hope that they love you and they care for you and they're there for you, right? That's the hope. Hopefully, if they're not, we have other problems. But they want to meet that for you, right? If your partner's like, hey, I kind of need this, like you care enough about them to be like, oh, like, yeah, I want to be able to do that for you, right?
Right.
So being able to express your need opens up a door for them to meet it and to create connection and deeper intimacy with your partner as they help you meet that need, right?
Right.
The other caveat is it also gives you information, right? If someone cannot actually meet that need,
Girl.
that tells you a lot. That's information. So either way you go at it, you're either going to get connection with your partner and stronger connection, stronger intimacy, or you're going to get some information that'll force you to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because if someone can't meet your need, they're not always a villain, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't have the capacity.
Really? They're not always the villain?
I mean, look, I'm trying to be fair here because...
Ew, fair, gross. No.
Right.
Nasty.
But sometimes they aren't. Sometimes it truly is a capacity issue, right? They might be, maybe they're in a stressful point in their life and they've got too much going on, or maybe they're a little depressed, or they have stuff going on that they're just like, I can't be there for you the way you need me to.
Oh, giving me flashbacks. So, anyway.
Right? It's a hard pill to swallow, but
It really is.
That's the beauty of being able to express your needs. When you can't do that and you don't do that, you lose so much, one, information, and two, you lose this opportunity to connect with your partner and for your partner to connect with you.
Yeah.
It shows you more of who you are, and it shows your partner what's important to you.
Exactly. And you're right. Like, if they aren't willing, I think willingness is the most important thing,
Absolutely.
right? Because I know I've definitely, and if you're listening right now and if this resonates with you, please let me know. But I forget that my partner has feelings and things going on too. And that maybe because I'm in a heterosexual relationship, maybe he really is going through something. Mm-hmm. Not every time someone says that they don't mean it. And maybe they don't actually have the capacity. Mm-hmm. They're being honest in that. But I would always take it so personally. You don't love me. And it was like the fairy tale of everything. Love conquers all.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes people just really aren't in the right place. Sometimes it's timing. And I love that you said it's information. My therapist always says that. Shout out to my therapist. Hey, girl, hey. She's always like, this is just information, right? You don't need to be like, this person, don't villainize this person. You could just say, okay, thank you for letting me know that. If somebody's being really honest with you, like, Drea, I don't understand X. But then that other part is if they're like, I'm willing to figure it out with you.
Yes.
That's a totally different thing.
Totally different
right?
thing.
And I know some people really get scared because they don't want to be left. They don't want to be abandoned. And it's really hard to walk through those difficult conversations, right?
It really is.
And so I really want people to understand, like, just take that chance to have that space because real intimacy starts with conflict.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And one thing, you mentioned this earlier about taking responsibility.
Yeah.
And this is I saw this on Threads recently too, and some girl posted and she was like, I just want them to know. I just want them to know what I like, and I just want them to know what I need. I want them to anticipate.
Why do I have to tell them?
Yeah, and this was a first date.
Girl,
she was like,
bye.
He should just know. I was like,
Girl, bye.
So I was like, I gotta.
Like, he know your name?
I was like, if you really want to know my opinion, you should catch me on Threads because that's where I let it all out.
I know you told me that. I got to get on Threads and see what's going on.
A little plug for Threads.
A little plug there.
But it was interesting. She had said that, and I was like, this is a first date. This is a stranger. You're expecting a stranger to know what you want, and then what do? We judge them based on them not meeting our expectation. And this is a first date, and it's like this is why we're making dating so much harder because we're going in or walking with these crazy expectations, right? And what are we doing? We're taking the responsibility and throwing it on the other person. We're like, oh, I don't want it. I'm going to give it to you.
Like,
and then men are like, what? But I don't know you. So like this example was he suggested, I think he said like coffee or a hike. And she was like, I don't do that. And he was like, okay, so like what
would you like to do?
Yeah. And so she was like, well, shouldn't he just know? And I'm like,
oh no.
But this is the thing. This is what we see in relationship too, not even in dating. People will get into relationship and then they don't express the things that they need. They expect that their partner will know and read their mind. And it's like if he wanted to, he would. Like that one line, I'm like, it's so simple because it puts the responsibility on the other person.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But again, we have to take responsibility for the things that we need. If we need something in a relationship, like, maybe like, for me, I was dating someone recently and it was long distance. And I was like, you know what? I really need a good morning text. And it sounds crazy. I don't normally need that. But I was like, because you're not.
You do.
Yeah, because you're far and like, our time difference. And I just like, I want a point of connection, even if it's just a sweet, like, good morning. Hope you're having a great day. One point of connection that I know I can rely on.
Period.
And that was easy. He was like, oh, yeah, no problem. I'll text you in the morning. It's easy.
Right.
Done.
And you didn't go, why is he not texting me in the morning?
Exactly, right? The other side of that could have been, me just being like, oh, well, he just doesn't text me in the morning. How annoying. Like, he should just know. Every guy should know that they should text me in the morning, good morning. It's
right.
Like, what? Everyone operates on such different wavelengths, right? And so, again, this mindset takes the responsibility on yourself. Like, if I need something from a partner, then it is my responsibility to ask for that to be met.
Exactly.
He could have been like, I don't really want to text you in the morning. I don't think that's
Then you got
necessary.
the information.
Then I'd be like, okay, I may not break up with him about that, but I might be like, that's information I'm going to chalk because what if it happens again and again and again?
Exactly.
And I'm constantly being met with no. Then I'm like, okay, this person can't meet my need.
Right, because you gave them the information, and I'm such a proponent of that. I never want to tell another adult, not anymore, because I've healed, what to do, right? I let you know this situation or this thing you said made me feel X. And whatever you decide to do with that, that's on you. So if I'm like, hey, I would really love if you, and then if you go, wow, this isn't that big of a deal. This isn't taking me away from my values or what I truly believe. I really like Drea. Let me do this. Wonderful. But the caveat is like, I tell people, don't go do something with resentment. Right?
Yes.
So if you do go do it for your partner, you're like, they want you to do this thing, don't go do it with an attitude or keep an inventory or start keeping a log of what the person did and then bringing it back up to them.
That's the start to the end of the relationship when you start doing that.
That's the start to the end, right?
Yeah.
And so, I really want people to listen to this because it's like, you can't just like be like, well, I did this for you. You did this for me. Like, what are we doing?
No.
At that point,
You
it's
can't
over.
Keep score. It's over at that point. Keeping score creates resentment, and it's really hard to come back from that in a relationship.
I agree.
It really is.
Because you're always in the back of your mind, even if you've cleared it. And that's something interesting to talk about,
because you're like, oh, well, I did this for you, and you should have done this for me. You know, it's like the should have, could have, should have. Like that mentality is so detrimental to a relationship. If that's you listening to this, you have to really sit back and answer, what type of relationship do I actually want to create, and is this attitude going to create that? Because you're co-creating the relationship. It's not only the other person, right?
And I think we get lost in that.
We get lost in that.
It's all on them.
How am I showing up, you know? And it goes back to you had mentioned this earlier too, is how do we ask for the need to be met, you know? And
framing.
Framing is everything. I mean, look, ladies and gents, go to ChatGPT if you need it. We got it now.
Exactly.
Like, I don't recommend it for therapy, but if you need it, if you need a little assistance and be like, how do I say this in a nice way? Put it in there. There's no excuse these days.
Right. And you literally cut and paste, even if you got a little attitude, because I've done a little ChatGPT cut and paste, and I'm pissed. But I'm like, send.
You're like,
okay? Girl, twitching the whole way through. But you know what? I'm like, listen, this is me. Handing out an olive branch. And if I'm not met back with one, okay. You know
Take
what?
my hoops, girl. Hold my hair.
Like, Beatrice, hold this real quick.
Hold this. I'm like, girl.
I'm like, I'm trying.
100%.
Really trying. But the framing, it's so important.
And I say it's an invitation.
Yes, that's right. Invitation.
That's what we said earlier. It's an invitation.
Yes.
So if you frame it in a way that's like, hey, I feel really seen when this happens. I feel really connected to you when we have a date night once a week.
Oh,
I would love if you could plan a date night.
Take a breath.
It would make me feel like so seen in the relationship and taken care of.
Why don't you take me on date nights? Beatrice's boyfriend takes her on date nights.
Yeah. See, you should be doing that too. That immediately, guys on the defense, or female, whoever it is, they're on the defense.
Absolutely.
It doesn't actually help create connection.
Right.
And usually you say that because it's happened so many times that you've ignored it and you've created the resentment, which is now why you're like, nah, I don't need, you know.
Exactly.
But if you can do this early on in a relationship, and again, you have to be mindful of where you are in the relationship. I'm not asking that on, month one, you're like, all these lists of things you need, right? It's got to flow out as you get closer, as you deepen the connection.
Yeah.
The asks are different.
Yes.
And you can't be afraid to ask for it.
I know.
And again, it's all in the framing. It's all how you ask for it.
Yeah.
And also being reasonable with what you're asking for.
I know I used to be so unreasonable.
Because there's also some responsibility there too. And we can get into that more on like the attachment side of what is mine to own and what is someone else to help me co-regulate.
Exactly. Because I always say this on the show at least once every few episodes. I used to go on dates as my 7-year-old self. And I would just bring all of my trauma on a first, second date. And I'm like, please figure this out for me. If you don't mind, I got stuff to do. And like, I'm sorry, who are you? I'm like, it's Drea. He's like, I know nothing about you. I'm like, well, it's all in there.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
And I think one of the great points of foundation to me is knowing what's mine, knowing what's yours, and then being like, this is ours to figure out together. And that responsibility of whatever happened in my past, like I shouldn't take that out on this person. But on the other side of that, it's like, no, it's not their responsibility, but the understanding of where somebody comes from is also really important. Because I think for a bit, I even tried to hide some of that in relationships, dimming my light, kind of being like, what does this person need me to be or to look like so I can make this relationship work? And then also, not saying the things that were important to me, going to my friends, calling my family, talking to my therapist, but becoming this shell of myself as a person with the person that I'm with. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, I've been in that situation myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I was so excited about the connection. And I think it was a moment in my life where I was feeling like I just wanted to be chosen.
And I didn't care about who. I'm like,
I just wanted that feeling. And it happens even when you do a lot of the work. Like, but the beauty of it is when you are doing the work, you catch it and you're like, oh wait, what am I doing? Like, and so I've been there and it's hard because you desire the connection, and it might be a great connection. Yeah. But there's parts of it that you're like, oh, we just don't align on these things. And for me to continue moving forward in this, that means I'm going to start abandoning the things that are important to me.
Yes.
If I keep continuing into this, And it's hard because you're like, I have to choose myself and choose the things that are important to me over choosing the connection.
Why is it so hard to choose ourselves, Beatrice? It's so hard. I mean, I was listening to something the other day. I think it was a podcast. I can't remember which one. And they were talking about like, how do you treat yourself, right? Like we talk about how we want to be treated by a partner, by our family, friends, whatever. But when you take a real inventory of the relationship that you have with yourself, I'm like, or even just how my life looks.
Yeah.
And then I had to take a pause. I was like, it's better because I do think, there is a responsibility in doing the work and when you show up, like you have the information, right? And so things aren't landing the same because you're in the work and then you're like, dang.
Yeah, you see your old patterns coming up and then you're like,
now you got to call yourself out.
Yeah, you're like, it doesn't feel good anymore. It doesn't feel like it used to. It doesn't hit the way it used to.
I can't be like, I don't know what's going on.
No,
all these things are happening to me.
Yeah, you full well know what's going on and you're like, I am choosing to abandon myself. And it's hard. And it's like, I want to give grace to that because we're human at the end of the day. Like, we
want to be loved.
The internet, I mean, with all the advice that we get on relationships and all this, like, we're not robots, right? And the healing is a process. I tell my clients all the time, I'm like, you're not just going to do this work and suddenly you're like this perfect human. You don't have bad days. Like, some of my clients get so frustrated when they have a bad day. I'm like,
girl, this is life.
Yeah, I'm like, you're human.
What talk about?
I said, I had a meltdown 3 days ago and I'm a coach. Like,
exactly.
But what I don't do is I don't make it mean something about myself, right? And I think that's the key. It's like, I can acknowledge, hey, look, I've made a mistake and I realize I've desired connection over being true to who I am.
Dang.
And now what is that telling me? Now I'm going to sit with that. I'm not going to blame myself. I'm not going to shame myself. I'm going to recognize, what is it trying to tell me? Like, why would I do that? What stage of my life am I in that is making that a possibility? Because sometimes you'll go through phases where you feel really healed and you're good and all good, and then you meet someone and you're like, this is electric, this is amazing, and you've done all the work, and you're like,
but did you see those abs?
Girl, they get me every time, damn it. They get me every time.
Every time. Like, work, what work?
Like, keep your shirt on.
Please.
Keep your shirt on.
Please, so I can keep my head straight.
Yeah.
Right?
Look.
But...
and it's tough. I think so. My biggest thing is give yourself grace and look back. Like, how did you react differently? Did you noticed it earlier? You probably got out of it sooner.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly, and that's the goal. It's like, am I catching these things earlier, because it's, like I said, we're human and we have to remember that. Like, we all have a desire to be chosen. We all have a desire to be loved and to be in a relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, sick of hearing that online that like, oh, you're desiring partnership over yourself. Like, no, I just like genuinely want a partner. Like,
I genuinely want a partner.
Ready in my life. I want to share a life with somebody. I'm excited for that part of my life to start. So it's okay to desire it. And I want to tell people that. Like,
and it doesn't mean that you like hate your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I love my life. I genuinely love my life. But like, girl, I'm tired. Like, I'm sorry, but I would love to share a rent with somebody. Like,
you're just like, where you at? Hello.
Like, I want to build something with somebody.
Tired.
I want to, like create memories with somebody. So
ready to have the little silly conversations of like, babe, did you forget the lemons?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I want to fight about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not
100%.
all this other like stuff. He didn't call me back, and I don't know if he likes me. Like, I'm done with all of that. But it's this whole idea of like, if you want to be in a relationship, then it means that something must be wrong. But some of us do desire partnership, and there is more of a focus now on hyper independence. The statistics around what they're forecasting for the future in terms of us being single.
It's not looking good.
No children, no like just no partnership.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
It is.
I'm like, dang.
No, it is. And I recently posted on Threads. I love it. But I said, women over 35, I was like, are we just like giving up on dating? Or are we just like what's going on out here?
Like, I go out tapped out.
I'm like, everybody is. And I think it like.
I'm just like focusing on myself right now.
All of them. I mean, literally, that thread blew up and I think I had like 400 comments on it. And it was just like, I'm so done with this. And just like over and over.
And this is the energy that's going out. And then men are seeing this, or, if you're in a heterosexual relationship, got to be clear on that, and they're like, I'm out of here. Like, look at this. And they're over us. And like, well, we over you.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, what are we supposed to do?
I'm not going to tell you what I need. You should just know.
I'm not taking you on a date.
Yeah.
We going on a hike.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't mind a little hike.
Girl, I don't care. I'm like, take me. Literally, I went on a beach walk that cost nothing, and I was like,
it's
you know what?
fine.
It's fine. I wore my workout clothes. We went out. I realized, we're not really a match. That's great, and I don't have to waste any money. You don't have to waste any money, and that's fine. I don't get people's qualm with that. Oh, but it's I want to see his effort. No, girl, I've seen the guys you dated that give you no effort, and you still go out with them. So like, don't even tell me. I just want to see his effort.
Coffee and latte and be quiet, girl.
Enjoy it.
But like for real, because to me,
they're $8 today, anyways. Okay, so
like relax.
No,
but I'm just like, to me, I don't want to sit for a meal for 2 hours. It's like even like we talk about the screening calls for our business. It's the same thing for me. Yeah. Like a 28 minute max. If I don't like you coffee day, I'm out of there. We're going to sit here for 2 hours. All this pressure to have food together, and I'm like, I want to go home.
It's too much. We gotta taper our expectations in that, because we're just, like I said, I think Brene Brown said this really well in an interview she just had with this Diary of a CEO.
Oh yes, Steve Bartlett.
Yes, I forgot his name. She had said, she's like, we're all, and I see this in dating in my coaching, but we're all just armored up.
Armored up, girl.
In dating, we're like, you should just know, like, oh, he said this. Oh, he did this. Oh, what a cheapskate for getting me coffee. Like,
he didn't text you back in 3 minutes, like, girl. Block him.
Relax. What? And by all means, I don't want to negate the fact that there are some questionable people out there, and you know what? You block them, you move on, you move on. But it's just we're so armored up on both sides of the spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Men and women, and I'm obviously talking heterosexual here, but like men and women, it's like we're just both like ready to like take down, you know?
And also just peace out.
Or peace
out.
At
the sign of anything. All the stuff we're talking about today, it's like if you find somebody nowadays, especially in Los Angeles where we live, it's like,
girl, you hold on for a little bit. Like you really try.
Right? You want to hang out? You ready to do some hard stuff? Yes? No? Okay, right. You like me, right? Okay, let's just try. I don't know. And I really do feel like
we're all like scared.
We're all a little bit scared. So you really do a little bit of a negotiation with yourself. Let me go back and look at my values real quick. No, I need that one. I mean, okay, he don't do that. I mean, okay.
No, I found myself recently doing that. Like one big one was for like faith. Because I've heard so many stories about people who like, oh, he wasn't Christian, she was, he wasn't, she was. They ended up coming together, But that's
I think that's a tough one, babe.
It's
I think
so
that's
hard.
Too
I was
tough.
like, that's too. I experimented and I was like, nope.
It does not work. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Like the spiritual connection, like you got to be like at least in the same neighborhood.
Yeah, no. Otherwise,
it don't work. It really don't.
And there
work.
but you get to a point where you're like, I gotta try some things, and it's like that wasn't one I needed to try.
You gotta go through the thing to learn, and I think that's another thing we forget. It's like, look, not every connection you make is going to be your life connection.
No,
some people really are just for a season, and I'm also saying this to myself out loud because sometimes somebody go on a date with somebody, and I'm like, we're together now.
Yeah, we're official.
We're official.
You're my man.
I love you. Hey.
And
he's like,
no, I know.
But it's just a date, and even if you date somebody for 5, 6, 7, 8 months, you're still learning about
100%.
each other. Lifing with somebody is a big deal.
Yes.
And these things that we're talking about today, when you get to that place of deep intimacy and to have the difficult conversations with somebody that's going to sit there with you and be like, Beatrice, I love you, and we're going to have this hard conversation. Like, that's a journey. That's a journey to get there.
I feel like we don't really have a good view or a good indication of what it really takes to be in a good relationship.
I don't think we do,
and I think we don't. And then so when we're dating, we're just like nixing people out with all these things. It's
left
like,
and right.
Do you even know what it takes? Like, it's a lot of work. It's hard. It's beautiful and rewarding and wonderful, but it takes a lot of you. It's really hard to have that tough conversation.
Compromise.
Like, and sometimes you mess up.
Yeah.
Like in a recent relationship I was in, like I really messed up. Like I didn't respond well, and it was not really an argument, but it was a really tender moment.
Yeah.
And I did not show up well at all in that moment. I was dealing with my own issues. I shut down. I was like, didn't communicate that I was shutting down. It was this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And do you know how hard that is the next day to like muster up and be like, okay, I didn't do well. What could I have done better? Like I'm really sorry. Like, how do we?
Not
you got to shove that ego down.
Shove it down.
And but that's intimacy. That's how you build more connection. But it requires a death to ego, and a lot of people don't want to do that in a relationship. And I really do believe that ego is a big part of why we fail in relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's a big part, like I just had like
it's
a very
armor.
visceral moment right now because I feel this need to soldier up sometimes. And I need to defend. I need to be right.
Yep.
I need you to understand. And then you start seeing your partner as an opponent.
Yep.
And you're no longer on the same team. And it's not you two against the thing. You're just against each other. And then you've lost the plot. Like it's over at that point. And it's not saying that you can't get back.
Yeah.
But when you start stringing moments and moments and moments and moments like that together, it is really difficult to get back.
Yeah, it's a little paper cut. That's what really ends a relationship, right? It's all these little things. And I think if we shifted our expectation of what a real relationship looks like, I think we would date differently.
We would so date differently, and I think
We wouldn't care about a coffee date. Like we wouldn't care about like you know what I mean?
Where am I supposed to go on a first date? Like, you know what I mean? And unless you've done maybe you talked for a few weeks or maybe you FaceTimed, I don't know. But for me, like, I just think that whole process and the expectations, especially for men, they're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
They're kind of outrageous. And this is what I want to tell you earlier. You said if they want to, they will, right? That statement is so interesting to me. And for those listening, please listen to this. It's like, look, you have to tell people, right? There are some things that are just naturally that a person will do. And I think it is important to look at that. And then you give them the information, and then you see what they do with it. And that's just that. But so many things just end quickly. They're like, well, he didn't do this, and I'm freaking out of here.
He didn't open my door. Oh, he's not a gentleman.
Yes.
I don't know. What if he just not
exactly?
Used to doing
I'm not gonna lie. I have done that one.
Yeah.
I didn't leave, but I kind of was like standing there like.
I feel so like feminine when you open the door for me. Makes me feel so good.
And I've done that. I did that tactic, and my door I'm still standing there like, and I'm like, wow. So thank you for the information, because then that lets me know, because I think those moments are so important. And it's like, I look forward to those little disagreement or like just kind of uncomfortable moments, especially in the beginning, because if you take it in and then there's actions afterwards on both sides, then you're like, okay, this person sees me. Everybody wants to feel seen.
You want to feel seen, and it builds trust.
Yeah.
Right? It's such a nice feeling when you tell someone, oh, I really need this in a relationship. Like, it really makes me feel this way tenderly. And they're like, oh, that's so easy.
No problem.
And then they do it. You're like, it almost feels better than like had they just done it.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, wow, you heard me, you saw me, you listened to me, and now you're following through. Like, that is so attractive.
Yeah, you saw something that you were like, ooh, this feels a little something, a little off for me. You communicated, and then they took action. Yes, that's the whole process of creating intimacy in your relationship.
100%. Like for me, I love when a man books something. I'm a like, my trade is like, I'm an event planner. I've done a lot of like, I do interior design. I plan. I'm like always planning things, visualizing.
You're out there being a soldier.
Yeah. And so for me in a relationship, when someone's like, I booked it, I did this, I'm like, oh, you booked it? Oh my God. Like, it's great. Like, I'm like turned on. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the level of like someone taking care of something.
Babe, don't get me started.
And when I tell a guy that, they're like, oh, it does that? I'm like, I will book everything left and right. Like,
exactly.
You know, and it's like, they now know that. Like, oh, that means a lot to her. And
so I'm excited that she's excited about this. I want her to feel this way. Yeah. And I think that's important too, to look for these kind of things in your partner and not abandon yourself. Because I know for me, being anxiously attached in the past and working on securely attached, here we are. Drea was not involved in the equation. It was all on them, making them happy. What did they want? What did they need? My light was just going dark and dark and dark. And I remember the day I was in a 4-year relationship, and my mom called me. She's like, I don't know who you are anymore. Like, you sound sharp. You seem tense all the time. I hear your voice, you know, and I didn't even realize it. And then I was like, I'm like stressed the F out, because I'm just literally trying to take care of this person all the time. And I've completely lost myself. So it's like, if you're in that situation, you know, take that journey to find yourself again. Like, what are some steps that people can take to go on that journey if you're like just starting out? What do you think?
So I think I like to look at everything through the attachment lens. I think it's a wonderful framework, and it gives you so much information as to why you're doing what you're doing. And then you can kind of start to integrate some of the change, right? But a lot of the time you can start choosing yourself even in your singleness, right? So it's like you can do a lot of these practices with friends. Hey, I need this from a friend. I'm going to ask. Like, I was sick recently, and I was like, you know, everyone's like, oh, let me know if you need anything. And you know, you never do.
You never do.
I actually reached out to a friend and said, I need you to go pick up this for me and this medication.
How did that feel?
And it was amazing. She was like, oh my God, done. Yeah, I'll be there in 2 hours. Like, did it. And it's like there's a lot of these things we can start practicing in our relationship. So I think understanding what your attachment style is really important because it gives you the framework to understand why am I doing what I am doing. And then from there, it's not enough just to know why, right?
No,
but
it
it
is
does
not.
help you at least categorize yourself in some, that these are my tendencies. Why am I anxious? Where am I self-abandoning myself, right? And, with what I do in my practice is we go through something that's called core wounds. We look for your core wounds because that's where your attachment comes from. And I won't get super into this, but the thing is, like, if you have a strong abandonment wound, we're going to really work on that and understand where are the areas in your life that you also abandon yourself.
Right.
Because, and it could be things like you don't stick to your own commitments. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. And you're like, I'm not going to really go. You don't stick to things that are important to you. So then, of course, it's really easy for you to abandon those when somebody else comes in the picture because you now have this lifeline that you're like, I have to keep. This is like survival for me. And I have a lot of anxious clients that I work with. And
I was going to ask that too. Where do people skew more?
So I tend to, I see a lot more anxious and fearful avoidance. So fearful avoidance are the mix between the avoidant and the anxious, and they tend to oscillate quite quickly. So they can oscillate.
That one's me. That was, I've been saying anxious, but when I've read more about fearful avoidant, I'm like.
It might be. That's what I am.
Yeah. That one lands a little bit. I was like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, because you also have a very strong flight mode.
Girl, I will peace.
Yeah. And usually you'll oscillate. You'll be really anxious. Oh, they didn't text me. Oh my God. You know what? I'm just over. I'm going to leave.
I'm always leaving, girl. Flight's booked. I'm out of here.
You're like, I'm out. Yeah, and it's also very confusing because you're like, but wait, I want the connection, but I also like don't want it because I fear being, my freedom being taken away. I fear being like just engulfed in the relationship. But then when I have it and it's close, I'm like, oh my God, what if I lose it? What if it goes away? And so what we do is we look at a lot of things we look at our needs. So oftentimes we don't recognize what our needs are. And they're either the needs we have in a relationship or just in life. Things like, some people have a strong need for creativity or for travel or adventure or novelty or financial security or all these things. And what we do is we try to find that in the partnership.
Right.
Instead of trying to fill those within ourselves, right? Doing that really helps and prevents you from trying to grab into that relationship, which then gets you kind of hooked onto it. Because it's my lifeline.
You're filling your tank with them.
Yes. And what you need to do is to fill your tank on your own. I have a client right now that was just going through a breakup. She's more anxious. He was avoidant. And that's a huge one we really worked on. We looked at what are your needs and how can we fill them? You have a strong need for community. Great. Let's figure out what are some things you can do that involve community. She's like, I take Pilates classes. Great. Well, I want you to go make a friend at Pilates, get someone's phone number, and you start to fill that, and you don't have this strong propensity to lean on relationships so strongly.
I used to get really angry about that statement of like, you gotta work on it yourself.
Same. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Like, what you mean? That's my man. He's supposed to be doing all this stuff. Okay. Like, what are you talking about? But it's true because anything that can be taken away from you, especially when your reaction to it is so debilitating, your nervous system has completely been hijacked.
Completely.
And it's gone, then you start to think, if I can lose this and I know that I'm going to be out of sorts, I really have to start self-soothing. Yeah. And a pivotal moment for me was when I had something traumatic. Some guy story didn't call me the usual.
Yeah.
And I freaked out. My mom wasn't available. My therapist wasn't available. My best friend wasn't available. My even ex-boyfriend who became my best friend wasn't available. And I had to sit there with my feelings. And it was the first time I was like, I got to walk through this on my own. I had to get into action to soothe myself. And it was, I think everybody was not available for like 2 hours, but I was so grateful for it afterwards because it was something that then I can control and I can take care of. And then I have my spiritual connection, which sometimes I tend to forget about. And I tap in emergencies. I'm like, hey buddy, how you doing up there?
You're like, actually,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we do that sometimes where we forget that like, we can take care of ourselves and it's not about, but wow, I just feel my growth right now because that was the narrative.
No, same.
You fix me, dude. I plug into you.
You make me feel less anxious. I need you to make me feel, even though you're the reason why I'm so anxious. So we reach for that, and again, it comes into, we have needs. It also, our core wounds, the things that we believe about ourselves also impact how we show up. So if we feel like we're always going to be abandoned.
One more time, Beatrice. Say it one more time.
So the things that we believe about about ourselves impact how we show up.
Period.
And so for an anxious attachment, you tend to have, fear of abandonment, fear that that you don't belong, fear that you're not enough. That's a big one for almost everybody, even avoidance.
Yes.
The I'm not enough constantly comes up. And so in my practice, we work to reprogram that, and essentially it's finding evidence why that is not true, because you've spent 30 plus years programming your brain to think that I'm not enough.
Yes.
And what you will do is you'll find all the evidence out in the world that continues to repeat that and tell it back to you. I'm not enough. See, they left me. It's because I'm not enough.
Exactly.
They left me because I already knew I was going to be abandoned. And the reality is you're not actually going to be abandoned because you're always home in yourself. And that sounds so woo-woo, but it's
no, but
true,
it's true. I just saw a quote today on that.
And if someone does leave you, you know that it's going to be sad and it's going to hurt, but you're going to be okay ultimately. Yes. It's not a lifeline.
Yes.
Literally,
it's actually not a lifeline.
And it doesn't make it less sad and hard to grieve, and breakups suck and they're hard, they hurt. But that's the work, and it's multi-layered, right?
Yeah.
And how you heal this, and it all comes out in practice. The only way you're going to change is if you do differently. Otherwise, you're not. You can know your attachment. Great. It doesn't mean anything. It's okay. What do I do when he doesn't text me back for 3 hours? What spiral am I going to get into? How do I talk myself out of this spiral? Because usually what happens is doesn't text me back for 3 hours. I have now created an entire story.
Big story.
Big.
Huge.
We over. It's like
it's
we
over.
should be in the Oscars.
I've deleted all the messages. Just kidding. I don't delete messages, but Michelle does.
And we're creative, man. We get really creative when we need to make up some stories to make ourselves feel better.
Honey, he's off in Ibiza with
Jamaica with some girl, and he doesn't call me. He's on a flight.
I knew that girl at Trader Joe's. I looked at him. I knew.
Yes. And it's like we will, and we have to challenge ourselves. Like, do we know any of that to be true?
I know. I'm always asking myself, Drea, what are the facts?
What are the facts
right now? Not my feelings. What are the facts? And I'm like, well, he has a text back. And that's about it.
And what else could it be? Could it be that he's at work?
He died, girl.
He's on he maybe died. He hasn't seen it yet.
I'm like, that's the only
he died. I just like,
girl, he died. And they try to look for my phone number.
Yeah.
Because they can't get to his phone.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So tell me. Yeah.
That's what happened.
That is what happened. Yeah. There's no other explanation.
There's no other explanation. No.
None.
At work, don't have his phone. Anyway.
Really? I should be attached to you at this point. Okay.
I used to hate when I'd have these spin outs. Call everybody. It's over. I'm done. And then I'm like, he called. So let me call you back.
Yeah. That's him. Oh, yeah, never mind. Yeah, and we're instantly relieved of all the anxiety that we just built up.
You put everybody through hell. Everybody's been listening to you for 3 hours. I'm like, oh, girl, he texted me.
God, thank God for friends, man.
Right?
When they can just pick up the phone when you're like, I'm having a moment.
And then they also know that there may be a cycle of that moment that may end in the person texting you, and you go, okay, girl, just call me back.
Yeah. You're like...
We're good. Oh my God, Beatrice, thank you so much. Today's conversation has been so amazing. Is there anything that you want to leave my viewers with before we let you go?
Yeah, I think it's just to approach dating today with a lot more curiosity. Let people win. Give people a chance. I think we're all armored up, and my biggest advice is just try to be more curious before making assumptions about others. And I really think that'll impact how you date and how you show up. And you might actually slightly enjoy dating when you can approach it with that mentality.
Yes, that's right, girl. And then we're going to play one game of red flag, green flag with you.
Ooh, okay, I love this.
So what we do is, there you go. You have actual flags.
Oh my gosh. This feels so official.
Yes.
I feel like I'm like an orchestra director.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to ask you questions around dating, and you let me know if it's a red flag or a green flag. But make sure you say red flag, green flag for those at home who are not listening.
Fair,
we should get the visual experience.
For our Spotify and Apple members.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay. Has cats.
Hats, cats.
He has cats. You go on a date with a guy, he's like, oh, I have 3 cats.
Okay, my coach says this, the coach side of me, but personally,
it's a red flag. It's a red flag.
Green from a coach perspective, red from a personal perspective. Okay. I don't like cats. They're
so
cute,
red.
but I don't personally want any.
So that's a red flag.
I'd be like,
Okay, has kids.
I'd say neutral.
Okay.
Depends on what you are willing to accept.
What you
'Cause
willing
I've
to accept,
dated.
Beatrice?
Is this for me or is this for
It's for
everybody?
you.
Oh, in neutral. I don't think it's green or red.
Okay, you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. For me, I've dated people with kids.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then
it just depends on, again, what's the relationship with the mom like? How old are the kids? Like, there's a lot of
But
factors.
if somebody has kids, it's not a red flag.
No.
You're like, okay.
No.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Wants to share locations with you after 3 months.
Green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not mad at that.
I'm not mad at
I don't mind it at all.
I have nothing to hide, so I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Text you back right away. You text him, instantly he texts you back.
Green.
Same.
Nothing wrong with that, you guys. We're making problems out of nothing.
Right?
Oh, we text back too fast. Okay, who cares? That's great. You
Yeah.
want him to not text back ever? Like, pick one.
Exactly. Says I love you after 2 weeks.
Red flag. I know. I've fallen for it, and I've done it too. Sorry, I've said I love you after 2 weeks.
Beatrice!
I know. Look. It felt like love.
I hear that, girl. Okay, he makes TikTok videos. He does dances for a living. He's like, babe, I gotta go make a video.
Red flag. I just can't. I don't know if I can take it seriously.
He's like,
It's just not who I am. I don't think I could.
I know it is a little cringe. Okay.
But good for him. I'm sure he's making a lot of money. Good for you.
Yes, can only express his feelings if he's had a little cocktail.
Ooh, red flag.
Red flag. Wants to introduce you to his friends after 2 weeks.
Green flag.
Right?
I love that. Let's meet the friends. Let me see who you are. I want to
see
get
who
to
you
know you.
are. Yeah.
It's part of who you are. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, again, it's one of those dumb rules that we make up that don't introduce to friends. Let your friends know it's early, it's casual, or we're just
Exactly.
it's not like it's not my wife yet. Like
Right.
Set the stage for it. I think it's really fine.
Shows up on the date, he has bad style. You're like, he's so cute, but like, wow, he looks terrible.
I would say it's neutral because I think style you can change.
Okay.
So it's not like a factor for me.
But you're not going to be like, you out of here.
No.
Okay.
No, I won't do that with style.
Maybe we need a yellow flag, Michelle.
Yeah, we need like a doesn't either, not either or.
Oh, God. All right, well, thank you so much. You have been amazing, and I can't wait to have you back on.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, don't forget this is the place for the hot mess expresses and the black sheeps of love. Before you go, make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm Drea Renee. This is Hey Babe, Can We Talk? And we'll see you next time. Bye.